All participants are unmuted. All participants are muted, and they can unmute themselves. From established companies, the startup creating a simple robot to complete We are at your service. Call 313-342-2166. That's 313-342-2166, or online at We also work with one of the times people are really quickly they look at people that look all of their other things. We also offer holiday cards. What can I call these? Not holiday, but I noticed. Our unique greeting cards are sure to celebrate all holidays. We also have cards for special occasions. We are your one-stop shop for unique and three-dimensional handmade greeting cards for all occasions. Specializing, we also take custom orders. Every card is crafted with care and made with love. So call Design by these today at 601-451-9526 or visit our website www.designbytheseonline.com. Come check out the new Scriptural Discussion hair braiding and natural hair care salon, located at 18070 Mount Elliott Street. Our new salon is spacious with adequate parking, Wi-Fi, and all brand new state-of-the-art salon equipment. Come meet your local hair braiders and natural hair care specialists, and check out our many hair services, such as hair treatment, box braids, cornrows, tree braids, cabana twists, children's braids, natural twists, lock extensions, baby twists, guided locks, updos, full weaves, and more. Please feel free to visit us on the web at www.sistersbraids.com or call 313-826-0498. Here at Sisters Braids 2, we offer exceptional care for exceptional hair. We look forward to seeing you. Sisters Braids 2 is a proud recipient of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund.
We would like to invite you to help support the efforts of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund. Visit the website at www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. That's www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. We often hear how we need to work together to rebuild the city. And we're actually doing it. You can make online donations and click on links to track the progress of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund. And for more information, 313-868-0000, the local number. Again, 313-868-0000. Support the Unity and Rebuilding Fund. You're watching WHBM, Highland Park, Detroit. FM 88.1 WHBR, the Highland Park.
Check the
WBIE 107.3 FM.
Check the
Virgin Islands.
that box over there.
The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHBM, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Look, I want you all to be careful when you go over there and don't unplug that box. It's not even showing up.
This conference is being recorded. The recording has started.
Say what?
Scriptural Discussion, a live broadcast every Sunday at 12 to 14:33. FM 88.1 WHBR and Comcast Cable. So why don't you call and let's discuss the Holy Bible? If you have one, the Holy Quran, and come to an agreement about the Holy Scriptures and the truth. So tune in to a Scriptural Discussion with the Son of Man every Sunday at 12 noon, right here on P33, FM 88.1 WHBR and Comcast Cable. You can call in live on the air at area code 3-868-4346, 866-0342, and 868-0351. Of course, the area code 313. That's 313-868-4346. And now let's go live. Scriptural discussion.
Turn those fans on. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the most merciful, the truthful, and the most just. I greet all of you who have the hunger and thirst for truth of righteousness. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's salam alaikum. I want to first give those who have disagreements with anything they have heard us teach. I want to give you the opportunity to discuss it with me. This is the day of judgment that you are now living in. The day of judgment is the day that truth is made clear. The day that you were warned would be a great and a dreadful day. It's a great day for those who are seeking righteousness, seeking truth to guide them to righteousness. It's a dreadful day to those who are lip professors, who are put on a show, but whose hearts, in their hearts, they really don't want to be righteous. I want to get to something that because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was sent to teach me the knowledge of myself. It's just like all newborns. A newborn gets his name from his father. So all of the messengers of God, they all bore witness to me, and they called me their son, the Son of Man. And since the mind that's in me was created by the word that came out of their mouths, and at least it was completed. The mind that's in me was completed. And just like the mind that was in the jinn, the Caucasian, who was the first man, the first mind that was created, as the book says, we created the jinn before. It's just like before you get an immunity to a disease, that virus comes in lacking something. It moves into you and begins making mischief. And you notice in your body, I'm glad that we had what you call tribalism on the planet, because we learned something about tribes. They have chiefs. Even in the Holy Quran, it talks about the exalted chiefs. The chief is the head of the tribe, you see. And so when some virus comes into our body, it is not under the control of the chief of the body, and it makes mischief. And that is see what I can do with the language that you can't do. So I'm just trying to show you. You don't have long to make up your mind now. Many of you are making up your mind to do the wrong thing, which is your prerogative. You know. I noticed a lot of you young people, you like to hang out on pornography sites on the internet, and it's like somebody going to eat lunch in a garbage dump. And if that's what you want to do, I mean, that's your prerogative. But understand this: the more you take that garbage in, the less you're going to appreciate what I'm sharing with you. And you are what you eat. So you can suit yourselves. I'm not here to be the police. I know what's on them sites. I would think that after looking at it for a while, you get sick of looking at that garbage. But I guess everybody ain't like me. But yeah, I went on there, looked at it. So I know what everything you do, I had to taste it to take your excuses away. You see, you wanna watch things that you know in your heart are wrong. The more you watch it, pretty soon your conscience gonna stop talking to you. And your devil's gonna win the argument and say ain't nothing wrong with it. Everybody doing it. Yeah, that's a famous saying of people who sitting up in jail. Everybody else was doing it. If everybody else was doing it, you wouldn't be sitting up in jail for it. So if you want to follow your parents in wrong, well, you go ahead. I told you your parents ain't responsible for you. I am. Now, if you want to follow them, you go right ahead and follow them. But know this: I'm gonna throw you and them in hell. Now, you just remember that now. I told you it's a day coming up to me whining and looking up in my face. You're gonna see a whole different son of man. Okay, I told you the judgment is like the autoimmune system. Once the autoimmune system kick in, some gonna die and some gonna be saved. Now it just depends on which one. But it's war about to go on. Do you understand? Yes. Until we could What you think an eye for an eye meant? What you think that was about? Until we could get a handle on wickedness, we had to protect the righteous. So we gave them, we had to protect, give people the opportunity to fight back. But the closer the time came for me to be here, the more peace was made. I know you done heard an eye for an eye, but I say to you now, bless those that curse you. Love your enemy. Why? Because the Lord is coming. And he ain't going to stand for it. You can listen to your disbelieving parents all you want. I don't care if all of you stop believing in me. That ain't going to change a thing. It just means it's all of you going to hell. And I ain't saying this in no closet. Much as I done showed you and proved to you, and you still doubting me? Okay. Right on. All right. But I want to show you something else. Now, when I first started teaching, when I discovered who I am, give me a minute here. I want to show you some stuff. Just like the messenger said that to me, that Islam is my nature. It's not something that somebody had to come and teach me. And he just told me, accept my own. And he said, your own is the Holy Scriptures. Well, all the prophets did say the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. And since I'm the Lord, when I'm reading the Bible, I'm accepting my own self. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told me to accept my own and be myself. He said, accept your own and be who you are. Well, who are you? I'm the Son of Man. And according to what I was told, I'm the Lord of this particular day and time that you're living in. Now, if any of you want to argue that, I'll let you come on in and argue. You got a right to look. A man stand up telling you he's the Lord. Let me show you how blind you been. I wish y'all would get this internet back up. Now I got to sing it. I want you to, but everybody know it. I remember when I was little boy in church, I learned this song. It said, and we had a youth choir, and it started off, it said, Lord, I want to be like Jesus in my heart. And then the background said, in my heart, Lord, I want to be like Jesus in my heart. In my heart, in my heart, Lord, I want to be like Jesus in my heart. Any of y'all heard that song? They said, Lord, I want to be more loving in my heart. Huh? Well, if Jesus is the Lord, why are you saying, Lord, I want to be like Jesus? Well, you say, Lord, I want to be like you. But if you want to be like Jesus, where? Where? Well, if you want to be like Jesus in your heart, then how many times have you start singing a song and somebody say, you know it by heart, don't you? What does that mean? It's in your head. Is that right? Well, you done already acknowledged that you don't believe Jesus was Lord because you sung that song and you know that you was talking to somebody else. Well, who gonna make you like Jesus in your heart? Jesus said the Son of Man is the Lord, so you were singing the song to me. Now, I done opened class to the whole world to make you just like the messengers of God as is written. In the resurrection, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of God or the angels of heaven. Why? Because all of them were taught by the word of the Lord. Now the Lord himself is making everybody, putting everybody in the same seat that the angels were the only ones sitting in. That is to be taught by the Lord himself. So this is the day where you can be like Jesus in your heart if you listen to me. You can be like Moses. You can be like David. You can be like Muhammad. And what were they like? They believed in entire submission to the word of the Lord. They were upright ones who submitted to do the will of the Lord. In other words, they were righteous Muslims. I don't think that they was wanting to hang out in pornography. So, but now that's you. You do what you know. You think I'm gonna beg you? If you wanna eat garbage, eat garbage. That's what swine do. They eat garbage. Ain't that something? Yeah. So in chapter 52 of the Holy Quran, to show you now, now back in 78, I started a pamphlet. I started circulating a pamphlet called The Rising Sun. And I would sit down and I would type it out. And it was a lesson. Here's one right here. I'll read a little bit of it to you. Prophecy being fulfilled, part 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings. And ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts. That's Malachi, the 4th chapter, verses 1, 2, and 3. And I started it off, Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Thank you. Brother, sister, you are living in the day of the fulfillment of the above prophecy. In part 1 of this article, I am going to give you the understanding of verse 1 and verse 2, if there's room enough on this sheet. If not, I will give you the understanding of verse 2 next week in part 2 of this article. I would like to quote the 5th and 6th verses of the same chapter. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. Brother, sister, the first 3 verses of this prophecy tells us what is going to happen after the coming of Elijah. Elijah was to come before the great and dreadful day. He turned the heart of our people back to their own black selves. Before Elijah Muhammad started teaching black people to love and respect each other, we did not even want anyone to refer to us as black men and women. Now, we are happy to be called black. Thanks to that, to him. Now that Elijah has come and completed his work, now comes the fulfillment of the first 3 verses. The first verse says, for the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. The scripture is comparing this day and time to an oven when it is burning. The oven represents the time in which we are living. Just as the fire underneath a physical oven causes the food inside of that oven to cook, the dope, alcohol, cigarettes, and other vices in the society supply the fire in the spiritual sense. The scripture then says that all the proud, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. Look up the definition of stubble, and you will find that stubble is that portion of the grain which is left standing after the harvest. You see, brother, sister, I am here to reap the spiritual harvest of the land in which we live. Those of you who are too proud to follow me will be left. The ones who want to continue to live in wickedness and sin will also be left. I am here to gather only the righteous. I go on. I hope I am making myself clear. Now let's go on. After telling us that the proud and all the wicked shall be stubble, it then says, and the day cometh shall burn them up, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. All of the proud ones who refuse to come out of this wicked society and to come and help me build a righteous and clean society will go down with these wicked people. All of you who refuse to give up the evil habits of this world will soon destroy yourselves. Next week, we will discuss the other 2 verses and their meaning. I would again like to thank those of my followers and friends for their donations to help me with the financial burden of keeping this newsletter in circulation. I thank you, and may Allah continue to bless you. And at that time, I didn't have nothing but a few little followers, my family, and 1 or 2 other people. But I didn't charge nothing for these. Now, you notice this is on card stock. Each one of these was, and I made them a different color purposely so people wouldn't think they was getting the same thing every week. And they say, I already got it. They couldn't tell me they already had it. So, and I was just giving them away. But I wasn't giving them away like you throw a flyer away. I would knock on the people's door and say, I have this week's edition of the Rising Sun. Would you like one? And then there's some people would say, yeah, you can give me one. I said, no, wait a minute. No, if you don't want it, I don't want to give it to you. It's one thing, a lot of times people think that you just giving something out, and if it's free, it must not be nothing. Well, I'm not going to let you think that with me. If I give you something If I'm giving you this, I want you to read them, because I'm gonna bring you another lesson next week. And that's the way I used to talk to them. And at that particular time, I was just in my 20s. You know, I wasn't even quite 28 at this time, at the time when I wrote these. No, I wasn't. That was November the 6th. I wasn't 28 until the 26th. But the point is, this was even written about. The prophets even talked about this. As Prophet Muhammad, he said that in the last days, the sun will rise from the west. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said that in 74, when he said that we are glad that we have over here 2 or 3 great scientists visiting us. We are glad that they are visiting us. To know that the sun, the spiritual sun, is vice versa in itself, rising from the west. Then in the, you notice they call card stock like this, they call it vellum. Is that right? Where's Brother Michael? He ain't here. Brother Jamal, ain't that what they call it? Vellum. Well, look at the 52nd chapter of the Holy Quran. It says, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, by the mountain. Remember, it says, if it say the mountain, then you know it's talking about one in particular. It ain't got no S on the mountain. Turn to, I'm removing all your excuses. That's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to beg you to follow me. The messenger told you that I'm not a God to beg you. I look like begging you to let me give you everything. I ain't gonna beg you to do nothing. It's already mine. And if you don't want to share it, that's fine. A Muslim loves for his brothers and sisters what he loved for himself. I have a universal mind now. Anybody living in the universe now that don't have that kind of mind, you out of place. Let me see. What did Magneto say to the what in the X-Men? Magneto was a realist. And even the little fellow who how many of y'all saw Future Past? You remember the little short fella? He tried to warn them. He tried to warn the people that they was going to be the Neanderthal. Now that the mutants, mutant meaning they call them mutants, but it actually that's a bad thing. These people had evolved to become higher life forms, to become powerful. Do you understand? Look, I'm so powerful that I can stand up and talk to the whole world for hours and hours and hours, and can't nobody argue with me. Thine is the kingdom. Finish it. No. Thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory. For how long? Do that sound like I got to be scared that you're going to do something to me? I have all power in heaven and earth is delivered unto me. In the earthly knowledge and the heavenly knowledge, all of it, the wisdom of it is with me. You hear anybody insulting me now? You hear anybody calling me crazy now? Kind of hard to call a man crazy that's doing what I'm doing and teaching what I'm teaching. Huh? But in the book of Revelation, after telling you that the wisdom is with me, in the 14th chapter, in the first verse, it says, and I looked to see where they was pointing to, this man with the number 603. He said, and I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the what? The mountain of Zion. Huh? Well, now you know what mountain it was talking about. It says, by the mountain. Zion is the prophecies. Zion means projection. That's what the Holy Bible is. It is projections of future events. It says by the mountain, and a book written on unfolded vellum. And you see any folds on it? It wasn't designed to be folded. And it wasn't designed like no pamphlet, like the average pamphlet that's so flimsy that people ball it right up. Now, I knew what I was doing. I just didn't know that what I was doing was in there. I just stumbled up on it. I said, ain't that something? They saw everything. So if you want to destroy yourself, knock yourself out. And I'm not here to beg you to be righteous. You don't have to beg a man who's hungry and thirsty for something to accept it when it comes. But you do have to beg somebody who ain't hungry and thirsty for it. I had people tell me, I wish you to help me to give up all this alcohol and help me give up. Man, you better give it up on your own. You started it on your own. I ain't never seen nobody walk up and say, will you help me learn to drink beer? Will you help me learn to smoke? Will you help me learn to shoot drugs? Will you help me? Don't nobody ask for help. They figure it out. I didn't hear you. All right. So I'm supposed to feel sorry for you and say, let me try to help you. That's the devil. He gets you all messed up and then say, come here, let me help you get off of it. If he wanted to help you get off of it, he'd have never started making it. Then he wouldn't need no help to get off of it, would you? So, the world have hated me for a long time. And I just didn't know it. I didn't know that, why. But now I know why. Because I'm here to do away with it. I mean, you can't blame them for hating somebody that's here to do away with everything they love. If you love evil, naturally you hate good. That's pretty plain, ain't it? It's just like, you notice, I tried my best to warn these people about Donald Trump. I told them that, let me tell you something. What's the first casualty of war? The truth. The minute you start going to war with somebody, you start lying to them. What Donald Trump been doing now? I told you from the very beginning that Donald Trump didn't care nothing about America. Didn't I tell you that? You can't even find no white folks that won't acknowledge that I did tell them. But you wouldn't hear it, huh? Oh, anybody can be president. Is that what they are? Why? Anything to make it look like a black man didn't do nothing that anybody else couldn't do. Right? They didn't used to say anybody could be president. So they said, so they elected a man that they didn't give a damn about America. And they lied to themselves. See, when you believe lies that people tell you, that the effect of believing their lies makes you lie to yourself. So you told yourself, oh, he's smart. He's getting people involved in the election that he wasn't even voting before. He getting these votes. And when he get in there, he going to be very presidential. You still waiting, ain't you? Miss Clinton tried to warn you, and she used the words maybe of the wrong person, a black woman. And she said, when somebody show you who they are, believe them the first time. Meaning, don't give them a chance to go now reinvent themselves. He stood up there and told that lie, talking about everybody knew he was that he had dealings with Russia. How in the world everybody knew he had dealings with Russia when he stand up there and say, I don't know nothing about Russia. And you know, as I look at these things, you know, I could say a lot of things. I'm just not going to say it. But I'm glad to see that many of the American people that own this country, white people, they waking up and realizing that there's a monster in the White House. And it's a monster that they made. But one thing about it, the Temptations had a song. They're the same ones that made you. You better believe they can break you. And look like they about to break him too. And all of them that decided that money was more important than the Constitution. I mean, I've watched people sell their people out all my life. I've seen black drug dealers going through the black community. Don't make no damn where he got it from. You say, well, he got it from the white man. The white man ain't the one going through the community selling it. The one who's selling it look just like me. And he's selling it to young people, teenagers, children that look just like him. And he could give less than a damn about them. He knows that they have a weak mind. Because I mean, how much wisdom could they have? How much ability to resist the temptation that comes with the human being? The temptation comes with us because we are ignorant. We are born ignorant. So curiosity We were designed to be curious so that we would seek out the understanding of things. We bring you forth then as babies to make clear to you. To make what clear? The universe. So we gave you an inquisitive mind that you would dig and dig and dig until you found the truth. But they got to know a saying. Curiosity killed the cat. And I'm glad they didn't leave it like that. Satisfaction resurrected him and brought him back. Do you understand? I don't have to wonder about it now. I done tried rum and coke and all that stuff, and I know what it's about. It ain't about nothing. If you've been drunk once, then you know alcohol ain't no good for you. Huh? You don't have to keep on going back to check it again. No. Anything that puts you out of your right mind is not good for you. That's why we have a prayer. Oh, Allah, please keep me in my right mind at all times. Ain't that something? On unfolded vellum. I read that. I said, well, I'll be heavens to Murgatroyd. Ain't that something? On unfolded vellum. And don't tell me that it ain't a book. I had a whole stack of them that I gave. And it didn't have to be no whole stack. Malachi ain't but 4 chapters. And they show what? 3 pages, 4 pages. And if you call it the book of Malachi, well then, a book written on unfolded vellum and the frequented house. I'm so thankful that I got definitions for all these things. The frequented house. Let me say now, we ain't talking about House or Conan, and we ain't talking about House of Trades either. What is a full house? What is a full house in poker? Come on, tell me.
3 cards of the same suit of the same kind.
3 cards of the same suit.
Same kind. 3 threes.
Okay. Yeah. But they all alike. Well, you notice. The word of God is a full house. We make no distinction between any of the prophets. We believe in all of them. That's the house of the Lord. And it's a frequented house. I mean, people go to that house all day, every day. If you don't believe it, turn on your radio on that, especially on AM. You hear somebody on that call, they say preaching all the time and going to the house of the Lord. It's a frequented house. Yeah. And an elevated canopy is most high. It's over everybody. He that's from above is what? And if something is above you, it's a canopy. Is that right? Oh, it's a wonderful thing to know the truth. All praise is due to Allah. I'm so thankful that He's with me. He's my reward. That's right. And I'm in Him and He's in me. He's the truth. And He, remember I called the word the bones. Remember that? And when the word entered into me, when he spake unto me, and did what? Let me see you stand up if we get rid of all your bones. See? The bones is what make you able to stand. Yeah. Which goes to show you I got a bone to pick with the world. Yeah. I remember Elijah when he told the prophets of Baal. Baal had about 400 and some false prophets. He said, I tell you what, how long we gonna halt between two opinions? Well, if Baal be God, then we'll know. If the Lord is God, we will know. We build altars and see which one I'm come and get. And Elijah, when he built his altar, the Lord accepted it and licked it all up, came and sopped it up. You know how long these people been preaching Christianity and Orthodox Islam and Buddhism and all that kind of stuff. I didn't lick up none of that stuff. So, but anyway, I'm getting off the subject. When it got time, they start hooping and hollering and you know how them preachers do. And Elijah told him, maybe entertaining guests, you might need to talk a little louder. Perhaps he's sleeping. Maybe you need to wake him up. Is that right? Elijah started ribbing them. Yeah. So, what is a rib? It's a type of bone, ain't it? See, I got a bone to pick with you. So, praise it, dude. I'm having a little fun. There's nothing wrong with having a little fun and learning at the same time. Huh? Now, I want to let you hear something. Unless somebody got something they want to say to me. I want to let you hear something. And this is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he was telling everybody about me. And most of them, I remember when he, for instance, talked about the wheel once. And he said that you could, if you ate right and lived right, he said you could tune up on people and tell what that brother or that wheel was thinking. You know, they used to call people who was CEOs and whatnot. You don't hardly use that term no more. You don't hardly hear them use that term no more, but they call them big wheels. Do you understand? You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a wise man. How could he not be? All the messengers of God were wise men. Huh? You got to be wise to know that you better submit. Fools rush in where angels fear to go. Fools rebel where angels bow down. Huh? Yeah. Let me show you an example. Look at the palm tree. Good lesson there. Palm tree and the oak tree. The oak tree is stout. If somebody asks you which one of them the strongest, I say, man, that oak tree, you can try to push it over with a bulldozer, it's there. That palm tree ain't strong as that oak tree. Well, your strength sometimes can be your greatest weakness. That's why when tornadoes and hurricanes come through, oak trees break, palm trees bend down, and when it passes, it raised back up. Submission is the key to life. It's not enough to just know the truth. If you don't submit to it, what is the point? You see? Even the devil, that's why this world was called a shadow of the world to come, of things to come. Because you look at the Constitution of the United States. They have a Justice Department. They have a Supreme Court that all they do is make sure, at least it was designed, that all they do is make sure that the Constitution is upheld. Even when Congress, the lawmakers, when they make a law, if nobody questions it, nobody challenges it, the Supreme Court don't just up and start jumping in. But if it's challenged, now, and it gets up to the court, and the Supreme Court says, no, that's unconstitutional. Just because Congress made that law, you can make a law all you want, but you ain't gonna make no law that's going against the Constitution. Congress shall make no laws. Look at how it said. It's letting you know that Congress is bound by the Constitution. Make no law respecting the establishment of religion, nor prohibiting the free exercise thereof. And seeing that and the freedom of speech and the freedom of the press shall not be abridged. And maybe not in them words. Shall not be denied. And seeing that the security of the state, a well-regulated militia is necessary in a world full of aggressive people. That if they don't like you, they will try to overthrow you. A well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of the nation state. The right of the people to keep and to bear arms shall not be infringed upon. You never heard nobody try to deny the military the right to keep and to bear arms. You don't deny the police the right to keep and to bear arms. It goes to without saying that the right of the people of the militia who are entrusted, since they are under regulations, when they are regulated, then you don't have to worry about a soldier or a Marine or an airman or a sailor or a policeman. For the most part, you don't have to worry about them going out here and having some accidental discharge or accidentally shooting the wrong person and all that kind of stuff. Because they have been trained. If you haven't been trained and understand the necessity of discipline, then you ain't part of no real well-regulated militia. You know, every morning before when I was in the Marine Corps, every morning you had formation and roll call. They want to know who there. If you ain't there, regulations demand that we know where you at. You don't give a man a gun and give a man the right to and teach him how to shoot and give him all that and let him just go waltzing around. And when you go off duty, you put that weapon back where it belongs. You ain't seen no when we used to go to Oceanside, when I was stationed in San Diego, you didn't see no Marines there with no M16, M14 rifles or M16 rifles sitting up at no bar. Only thing you see sitting up at a bar with a weapon is a damn fool. Anyway, I don't care how mad you get. Call you what you are. Anyway, let me let you hear the messenger. You know, the more I find out about myself, it reminds me of the sun when it's rising. First, you see a little piece of it. And if the sun is rising over the ocean, which most of the time it is, because the earth is 3/4 covered in what? So if the sun rises up, if it had eyes, it could see itself on the clear horizon. A clear horizon is what you got when you got nothing but the ocean. The land got hills and valleys. Truly, he saw himself on the clear horizon. So every time the sun go to rising over the ocean, it see portions of itself. It could see portions of itself if it had eyes. Until pretty soon it could see its whole self. Then, as it begins to make its ascension, as the earth bows to it, the sun is so resplendent and bright that you got to stop looking at it and look at what it's showing you. Huh? What's that to tell you? That the sun was not made for you to study and judge. Otherwise, your eyes wouldn't hurt when you look at it. You notice how when you used to come in here and talk crazy to me, you left with a headache? That was to teach you a lesson. And if you say you didn't get no headache, come in here and clown. I'll give you one. And teach you a lesson. Since you so hard to teach a lesson, I make the lesson out of you. When people see you walking around here, can't relax, and got a drawing at your head there that won't go away, then you will understand. So I want you to hear the messenger here.
Salam alaikum. You may be seated. Maybe I don't have the money like that church in the South. Every time he was 5 minutes late, he paid $5. So I may have to start the bar and see all of these 5 minutes. I'm very happy to see your smiling faces here this afternoon. And I'm sorry that I was a few minutes late. As you may know, that is all over the world that we are never on time here. So I want to warn you and myself too. We better get out of that being behind time. Don't we may run into the wrong fella that's on time. We're very happy to say to you that we have a continuation of our subject, the theology of God. We never is off of that subject. I don't care what we are preaching, that still is our subject. And that you have been very grateful and honorable to me and my helpers to visit this teaching from all parts of America. Having you coming from far and near to hear what I have to say, I hope you will return happy and wishing to come again. I'm not going to promise you that I'm going to be here every Sunday, but I'm going to try to be here every time I hear you are coming from afar to listen to me. So I know number two will try and get you to promise so that they can get the honor, credit for having a large temple of people. Then when I get them back at the door, I will make them pay off. And now we have so much to say. I used to teach 6 hours. But since I'm a little late, today I try and remember that I was a little late and let you go before 6 hours have expired.
Now, you know he was telling the truth, don't you? Because of what? I do that all the time, don't I? And watch what he say about 6 hours.
Oh, yes, I did. Used to teach right here in Chicago. 6 hours, brother. Yes, sir. That's no long time. Since we've been here for 400 years and never have been able to get away.
Is 6 hours a long time? See? Now, when he first said that, people thought it was a long time. But you notice, I be teaching on Sunday, and 6 hours will go by, and you still be wanting to ask me some questions. Huh? And I tell you, man, I've been standing up here 6 hours, I'm tired. You understand? You know, it's not that 6 hours is a long time. No, it's not. That's just a day in school. Your class in school lasted about 6 hours. From 9 in the morning, actually 8 in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Get rid of lunch, and there you go. 6 hours. And of course, we had homeroom when I was in school, and we stayed in homeroom, I think, until 9 o'clock. You know, you had to be there by what, 8:30? You know, and then you do your little homeroom, and then the bell rang, and then you get to class for 9 o'clock. 9 and 3 is 12, and to 3 o'clock, that's 6 hours. Huh? And even in your school, in the school we had, you had lunch for 1 hour, so you didn't get taught but 5 hours. So we beat that. We taught you 6 hours. And I could teach you 12 hours and it wouldn't seem long. I done did that before. You remember when we went to the people and it was 6 o'clock in the evening and the morning and the evening looked the same. When we left there, it looked like it was still evening, but it was 6 o'clock in the morning. It didn't do no good. The person that I was talking to, they believed a little and then start disbelieving. I taught them so much they start disbelieving. So, but like I told them, told so many that decided that they could just treat me any kind of way. And I told them, I'm still the Son of Man. Are you still what you was? They warned you. They let the Lord be your fear and let him be your dread. You sanctify the Lord of hosts. Don't disrespect him. I mean, why disrespect me when I have shown you respect? People come around me and be all on the eggshells. No. Relax. Because if you can't relax, I can't relax. They said, no. We ain't got to be on eggshells talking to each other. I'm a human being just like you. So, I'm so honored to meet. I'm honored to meet you. So we even. We can dispense with all of that unnecessary flattery or whatever. Because I'm not here to intimidate you. That's the kind of rulers that's on their way out. Frighten you into doing what they want done. You get much better work out of people. You get much better aid and help from people if they do it out of love instead of fear. I'm proving that. Love made me do what you did, what you see here. Not fear. Them tables that you sitting at, look how well they done held up. Love helped me put them together. You see? And everything that I've did for you, it was motivated by my love for Allah and for you. Not because I was scared. You get tired. You remember Fannie Lou Hamer? What did she finally got tired of being afraid? And she said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Huh? But love don't make it. You don't get tired. As that song says, I ain't no ways tired. Huh? No, I ain't tired. I want to keep doing for you. The same way you can sit down and think of reasons why you dislike somebody or hate somebody. Let me tell you something. It's like all these people that's running around here got so many bones to pick with the United States. Living in the United States. In order for you to hate this country, you got to ignore a whole lot of history. It's like in order to hate this country, you got to remember a whole lot of history. But it's up to you which history you choose to acknowledge. If the history that you justify your hatred, if that history still exists and is getting worse, well, then I would be with you on that. People can't undo what's already been done. But if you see people trying to do better, trying to change, it's like people say, well, Mississippi's still just as bad as it always was. Then how did Mike Espy get so close to winning that election? It sure wasn't because black people was the only ones voting for him. Huh? I ain't forgot what Haley Barbour did. I mean, he's a Republican, and he probably don't care that much about black people. But he sure pardoned a whole lot of black men that was in jail, and he didn't have to do that. When I see people do good, that's what I'm here to help cultivate. A Muslim is one who inwardly joins in to, he enjoins goodness and forbids evil. I'm not going to cultivate the worst that's in you. If I fuss at you, it's just like you didn't hear Mr. Thomas Robb. Now, he the grand wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. He calls himself the national director now. They ain't got smart. Let's stop using all these crazy terms. So, when he came in here, I respected him. Just because you disagree with people don't mean you have to be disrespectful. You get a chance to practice what you claim you preaching. If you say you're a righteous person, then you can't just get away with just saying that. You got to be that. And your righteousness should not depend on who's righteous to you. And that don't mean you got to be somebody's doormat either. Being righteous don't mean you got to be a coward or let people run over you. No. Being righteous is being just. Now, if a person verbally assaults you, verbally defend yourself. I know how to shut people down that call themselves coming in here assaulting me with words. You see, I done shut them down. All you have to do is, whatever a man call you, if he can prove that that's what you are, then I'll tell you like Mayor Daley said about when they was talking about Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad teach that white people is devils and you decline a day in his honor. Mayor Daley didn't bite his tongue. He said, if the shoe fit, wear it. Now that's a man. Okay. If you call me something that you can prove that I am, if it's bad, I don't need to get mad at you. I need to change. Huh? And I really need to thank you. Like the emperor that didn't have no clothes on, and the little boy finally told him. When the little boy told him, that helped him to go put some clothes on. Stood all them people lying to him, telling him how beautiful his suit was. That's what they tell Playboy bunnies and stuff. I mean, centerfolds and women that they trick, beautiful women. I told you, I've been on them porn sites too. Hey, some good-looking women. And I told them that they look beautiful naked. And convinced them that ain't nothing wrong with that. Now you see why the Holy Quran says men are the maintainers of women. The Bible says the head of the woman is the man. Well, let me tell you something. You run around here walking around here naked, you ain't got a good head on your shoulder. You listening to the wrong man. Just doing anything to them. No. We are all better than that. The devil is the enemy to man. The mind is the devil. The mind without the word of God is devil. Do you understand? A deviser of illusion. What is reality? Reality is truth. If a naked body, if you consider a naked body beautiful, you are living in self-delusion. That's why people pay so much for a bridal gown. And they put that on that woman. If you put the woman in the bridal gown next to the naked woman, then you tell me who's beautiful. The man in a tux or the naked man? You can't live your life from between your legs, man. That's the animal instinct. Every animal knows how to reproduce, and you notice deers go crazy during that time. They call him, he running. He run all out that stag. He run all out in the things he wouldn't have never done. But when he come down on him, and some of us, we go crazy when it comes down to reproductive. That drive is so strong. The reason that was put in us so strong is so that it would guarantee that the human species stay around until we master life and death. That's what we on the road to trying to do. We've been trying to master life and death. We were told that we could live, but we were also told that the wages of ignorance, the wages of sin, is death. How you know you doing something wrong? You're dying. Now the thing is, we don't have to wonder if we're doing wrong. We need to find out what it is we're doing wrong. It don't even do no good to eat to live if the way you live is not peaceful. Because you know what happens when you ain't got no peace? You get gas, you get out, your system don't function properly. Ain't no slipping in, ain't no shortcut to eternal life. You got to be righteous inwardly and outwardly. You can't just put on an outward show and then get behind closed doors and do something else. It don't work. No, we got to be straight up. You understand? You notice I said we, right? So, I mean, I'm letting you understand that I'm no different than you. You know, each one of us, we have temptations, we have struggles equal to our gifts. You see? You know, to whom much is given, much is required. You know, you look at some people, see somebody going through something and they trivialize it. Well, that ain't nothing. If all I had to do was that, well, but that ain't all you got to do. You got something else. Allah ain't gonna put on that person what he put on you when your gifts are greater than his. So everybody got their cross to bear. Do you understand? So stop trying to judge people. All right? So get in these classes, pay attention, and I'll guide you to perfection. The more you follow and obey what I teach you, the more pleased with yourself you will become. That's what Allah put me here for, to guide you. So I want you to listen to the messenger.
So now we getting the news of getting out of the confines of our ears. And that is very good news. As long as our enemy has the upper hand, our authority is over us, we can never hope for anything like human freedom.
You notice especially in the Navy. You know, the Marine Corps is a branch of the Navy, actually. It falls under the jurisdiction of the Department of the Navy. And they have a term, all hands on deck. You know, all hands man your stations. Well, okay. Then you know that hands don't just mean these here, these 10 digits here. It's talking about minds. Do you understand? As the messenger said, long as the enemy has the upper hand or authority. Huh? As long as the enemy we thought was just white people. The white man's flesh ain't the enemy. The mind that we gave him, the mind that we put in authority in him, that's our enemy and his enemy. That's why his civilizations rise and then they fall. They are abject. They get to a high state and then they just start falling over like a tree. It grow up strong and everything. Next thing you know, it's falling over, dying. Why? Because it's a mind that is incomplete. If you put a dead body, literally a dead body, out in space, it won't continue to decay. It'll just be there. Now just think if you knew how to get out there and be able to live, for we already out there, you know. We just haven't learned how to live eternally. Because we've been practicing things the wrong way. And as you practice wrong, you learn the wrong way. And since you've been trying to do it your way all these 6,000 years and you ain't came up with no better thing than that which leads you to death, why not give Allah a chance? You sure don't know how to live a life that will lead to peace and longevity. All these men, that Methuselah was a righteous man. He wasn't no man who believed in practicing wickedness. He wasn't perfect, otherwise he wouldn't have died. But he was a long way from what you is. And the more knowledge is opened up to you without the wisdom of it, you die quicker and quicker and quicker. Because just because you know how to do something don't mean you should do it. But you think everything that you know how to do is progress. It's good to do it. That's why you never finish anything. You don't complete nothing. Even right now, you have the opportunity to complete the automobile, and you refuse to do so. Could have been done, completed it, and did away with burning fossil fuels and putting smog out there. And you won't do it because you're too busy trying to be rich. You don't even understand that it's more to us than just living and dying. You want $1 billion but you don't want trillions and trillions of stars and planets. You a fool. And frankly, we done got sick of you. So you go on. Soon you won't be here. Yeah.
We got to get authorities for ourselves. I don't know what you thinking about us and what we have to say to you. But we have plenty to say. We just want to know where to start. You know, people who have been preaching Christianity all their lives, the religion of Satan. Oh, listen what he said. That's just what I said.
How you know Christianity is the religion of Satan? See, you remember the devil, he told when he was made, he said, my Lord, as thou hast, let's go to the 7th chapter of the Holy Quran. And around the 11th verse. Now, look at the section title. The devil's opposition to who? To man. You notice, once a virus gets inside of you and starts wreaking havoc, look at that, what do they call a typhoid Mary? The virus was in her, right? And it was wreaking havoc on her people, right? But obviously they needed to find her to be able to effect something that would give them immunity. Is that right? So we put a virus, a wicked mind, we put a wicked mind in brown people, yellow people, but we perfected it in white people. Do you understand? Because those was the ones that we was really trying to get to. And so then we put the model of virtue, the most virtuous man. We took his seed and gave the devil charge over him for 400 years. And that's what, you notice that virus, that wicked mind that we put in white people. You think that it's not the enemy to white people. You must have forgot about Jeffrey Dahmer. You must have forgot about Charles Manson. You must have forgot about all of them serial killers, the Zodiac killers. And all of these, they got a history of murder of their own people. Adolf Hitler killed more white folks than anything. Huh? That mind that they have ain't no friend to nobody. Everybody that it takes up residence in, it becomes the enemy of it? What makes you think to go and murder, drive by, and shoot down black people? What makes black people do that to black people? The same mind that make white people do it to white people. Do you not see that you carrying an enemy around on your shoulder? And until you develop an immunity to be able to put up resistance, and you will not be able to put up resistance to it unless you submit. Submit yourselves, therefore, unto God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. It's just like me. I wasn't never no conscientious objector. I wouldn't have joined the Marine Corps if I had an aversion to killing somebody. But growing up in Christianity didn't give me no aversion to killing nobody. But when I heard the teachings of Islam after getting out of the Marine Corps, then the word of God became real to me. So real that I could not, in good conscience, be the cause of anyone's death. And that's why, when I knew that retribution would, because of something that maybe I could have avoided, I wasn't finna go tell nobody that these people live here and that and this, because I know what would happen. And I wasn't going to be the cause of that. That would have been unjust on my part. People always can tell you what somebody did to them, but they don't seem to know to tell you, or don't be ready to tell you what they did that made that person maybe do that to them. Huh? Messenger taught me to look at yourself first. And as I look at myself, I know that I have not practiced life perfectly. No, I haven't. So whenever something happened to me, I'm part to blame. Do you understand? You see? So if I'm part to blame, then I need to take some of that blame on myself and learn from what I did to try to see if I can make myself a better man. But as long as we carrying an incomplete mind around inside of us, we are on the path of self-destruction. Like, just as much as a man will go and kill up a lot of people and then blow his own brains out, he was already on the path. He had made up in his mind that that's what he was going to do. And he just wanted to take somebody with him, which is a wicked thing. If he just wanted to kill himself, why don't he just go and kill himself? But that's not the way the devil works. The devil make it fair seeming to him that whatever wrong with you is somebody else's fault. You need to go get them so-and-sos before you kill yourself. Right? Mm-hmm. When the thing is, just like they play a little game in Catholics, say, you can't get forgiveness for suicide. Hey, that's a play on words. If you kill yourself, can you ask for forgiveness? So they play with words that way. But in actuality, none of you can get forgiveness. You could not get forgiveness before the Lord himself showed up. For the Son of Man is the one that have power on earth to forgive sins. That's what the book told you. So I already forgave everybody, and I'm offering you salvation now. If you don't accept my offer, well, you bring destruction on yourself. Now, the devil's opposition to man. Anytime, well, I'll show you an example. Alcohol is addictive, especially to those with a weak constitution or a weak mind. Do you understand? Well, then, since we know that, then we actually, as a mercy, we should not produce alcohol. And if we do produce it, it should only be given out. It should be a controlled substance because it is addictive. It is harmful to human beings when abused. Just like drugs that you have out there. Alcohol is a drug. So we don't think in terms of, I won't put a stumbling block in front of my brother. But if we thought like that, a lot of the things that the people in society right now suffer, they would not be suffering because it wouldn't be really readily available. Do you understand? But because you love money, and so much money is made off of alcohol. There's so much money about to start being made off of marijuana. There's so much money being made off of crack. And what's that? They got a new one out there. I don't forget the name of it. But they got these little drugs that they don't care that they're destroying the one. They are actually killing their own customers.
Mojo, son of man.
Mojo. They got a drug called Mojo now. And because you love money and don't love one another, you don't mind killing one another because you have a half a mind. You have a mind that is like evil is a virus that have infected. It's a mind that Yaqub, 6,000 years ago, unleashed on the human family. And I'm the cure. And all you got to do is get a transfusion from my mind to yours, and you will be immune to it, and you'll be able to put up resistance to it. Submit yourselves, therefore, unto God. Know ye that the Lord, he is God. Submit yourselves, therefore, unto God. Resist the devil. Resist those thoughts. That's how I stopped drinking and smoking. I had drank for, my mother and them didn't know it, but when I was working with them men, I started drinking beer and all that kind of stuff. And but I never came around my mama. Half high and all that old stuff. But while I was out working. So I drank and smoked for about 7 years. or longer. But when I heard the word of God and really believed that a man that was teaching me was truly a prophet of God, that did it for me. I wanted to be with that man. I wanted to be his follower. And I was told you can't smoke and you can't drink if you're a Muslim. I said, well, I guess I won't be smoking and drinking. And I stopped smoking and I stopped drinking and didn't need no 12-step program either. And yes, I did like smoking and I did like drinking. But I didn't like it so much that I was willing to forget about God. And so I'm thankful. And now I can share these things with you. I want you to be as I am. It does not yet appear what we shall be, but we shall be like him when he appears. Well, now you got a chance to be like me. First and last. The natural mind and the spiritual mind combined. Do you understand? That's how we started off. Woman didn't come first. Man was first. Then we, you notice, you can, even today, you see them a transvestite, changing a man into a woman. And they ain't been here but what? See, he ain't learned how to put no ovaries in him or nothing. But they've learned to change a man into a woman. Huh? Can't change no woman into no man. Man comes here. We all started off double X. So, everybody start off with, female. Why? Because ain't but one original man. You see? The original man is God. X and Y. We have both. The beneficent, the merciful. Beneficence is a masculine attribute. Mercy is feminine. Do you understand? And wherever two or more are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst of them. X and Y, that's two. Is that right? And the truth was in him. Do you understand? And he was created first and then made. You always create it before you make it. Creation takes place in the head, in the mind. Then you make out of matter what you created with mind. Do you understand? You see? So I'm trying to show you the truth. And we, remember the messenger said that Christianity is the religion of Satan. Says, and we indeed created you, then we fashioned you, then we said to the angels, make submission to Adam. This talking about me. So they submitted except Iblis. He was not of those who submitted. And so he said to him, what hindered thee that thou didst not submit when I commanded thee? And Iblis said, I am better than he. And that's all that you hear from all of our lives. That's all we've heard from white people, is that they was better than us. Is that right? You can't even sit on the same toilet as him. His boo-boo is better than yours. I mean, he even laughing now. I mean, it's the truth. He said, you can't sit on my toilet. You know, his boo-boo don't stink as bad as yours. Is that right? I don't know where he is going, whether he is going to the same cesspool as yours. Oh, man. And don't drink out the same water fountain. Don't you put your head over my fountain. I wonder if his water was different. Do you think? I mean, we was all drinking the same water, but you couldn't drink from the fountain he was drinking from. Is that right? All that was done to put in us the thought that we are inferior. And we never was wise enough to realize that if we truly were inferior, he wouldn't have had to spend so much time teaching us that we were inferior. Do you understand? And even his children, they wasn't wise enough, obviously, to realize that they was being lied to. Because if the black man is so inferior to you, then why are you worrying about him? Just let's move on. Why you got to keep him out from everything? Why you got to keep him from learning how to read? Why you got to keep him from doing everything if he's inferior? He won't never be able to compete with us, no way. But they all, the rulers, they knew the truth. It's the ignorant that didn't. And that's what time it was. So now let's get to the part where the cross, the Christianity. It says, I'm better than he. Thou hast created me of fire, while him thou didst create of dust. You notice fire is greedy. If you ask fire, why are you burning up that house there? Because it's there. And I'm going to get that one next door. Is that right? He wanted all, right? Well, do you ever get enough? I'm going to burn until ain't nothing left to burn. Is that right? That's the way the white man is. He never satisfied. So we created him of the nature that he cannot be satisfied. He's never satisfied. No matter how much wealth he gets, he's never satisfied. And that's the sad part of the mind that we put in him. He never knows how to say that's enough. So he needs healing just like you. You see? And so it says, Allah told him, he said, then you get forth from this state. You can't have no peace when you cannot be satisfied. So the state of peace, he cannot, it is elusive to him. Because when you're at peace, you are satisfied. You see? And so it says, get forth from this state, for it is not for thee to behave proudly therein. Go forth, therefore, surely thou art of the abject ones. Abject means to go from a high state to a low state. Look what they did. They put a man in the office of president that brought honor at a time when America was, as they say, on a precipice. The bleeding jobs and on the verge of a depression, was actually in a depression if it hadn't been for the Department of Welfare and the welfare system. And they elected the first black president. And he and the staff, that it wasn't all black staff, it was white people helping him. And a white mind in him that he got from Harvard. Harvard is a white university. And if all they was worried about was white skin, well, the only thing that wasn't white about him was his skin. And that goes for every other person in America. You went through America's educational system. It was set up by white people for white people. And you came out with a white mind. Who's the father of your country? You know something looking crazy? George Washington. Who are the founding fathers of America? Ben Franklin, George Washington. Who was John Hancock? He was one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. Is that right? That's the same thing that a little white child will answer. And you're so stupid that you trash your own country because you couldn't see past the tip of your nose. Went from a man who brought honor to America to a man who brings dishonor everywhere he goes, not only to himself, but to the country that he's supposed to be representing. Now, why am I able to stand here and say all of these things? Where's all of those people who Trump? How come don't none of them come in here and get on me about what I'm saying? I tell you why. Because everything I'm saying is the truth. And the only thing that justifies you supporting Donald Trump is that you don't give a damn about the United States, and you could only support his foolishness because you are a fool. Man attacking the Justice Department. People who have put their lives on the line to protect his rights, to protect your rights, to make sure that you can go to sleep at night and don't have to worry about nobody coming and blowing you up. I'd like some of you all to come in here and tell the world what Donald Trump done did for the United States. What has he did for this country? What? And that alone is proof you don't give a damn about this country. You can't even name nothing that he did for America. And yet, for the United States, I should say. And yet you call yourself proud to support him, talking about make America great again. All your coded language. But make America a slave state again. I'd like to know who you plan on putting in slavery. You little weak-minded fool. You ain't nothing you can do with me. And ain't nothing you gonna do with my people. But let us go. You better remember that little nursery rhyme you have. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You catch a tiger by his toe. If he holler, you better let him go. Huh? You ain't got no tiger. You got a lion. The lion of the tribe of Judah have prevailed to open the book. And the lion and the lamb is now laying down together. Your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh to and fro, seeking whom he may devour. The messengers of God were sheep, and they gave birth to a lamb. And the lamb and the lion now are one. That's right. I learned things about manhood when I was in the Marine Corps. And I also learned more about manhood when I joined the Nation of Islam. And now I put the two together. If you know what's good for you, you will submit. But anyway, it says, go forth, therefore, surely thou art of the abject ones. You went from Barack Obama to Donald Trump. You went from a high state to a low state. You ain't never had a president of the United States going around insulting everybody that he talked to. Never. So, this is what the devil said now. He said, respite me till the day when they are raised, till the day of resurrection. The dead in Christ shall rise first. Satisfaction brought him back. And it says, he said, thou art surely of the respited ones. Every time we sent a messenger, we were granting white people an extension. We were granting this world and its evil an extension of time, just like doctors today, they can cause cancer to go into remission. Well, Jesus and Moses and David and Solomon and Muhammad, all of them caused sin to go into remission. They didn't get rid of it, but they caused it to stop spreading. Do you understand? Granting them respite. Do you understand? And so the devil then, he turned around and said, as thou hast judged me to be erring, I will certainly lie. How do you spell lie? I will certainly lie. How you know he'll lie? He got a whole building on top of buildings. And he called them the library. I didn't hear you. I'm the first one named it what it really is. You ain't never heard nobody call it a library before me. Huh? So it says, I will lie in wait. He said, I will lie in wait for them. Where it? In thy straight path. What's the straight path of God? Religion. Now we come to the cross, to Christianity. It's the religion of Satan. How you know? Because you can't find no prophet calling the religion Christianity. Then where it come from? And why is the symbol for Christianity a cross? Why? Let's read further. He said, I'm going to lie in wait for them in thy straight path, meaning religion. Then I shall certainly come upon them from before them and from behind them and from their right and from their left. Now, if you lay a cross down, what you got there? You got a line that's before and behind. If you stand on the cross, you got a line in front of you, and you got a line behind you. And you got one to your left and one to your right. It's called a grid. You notice, white people, they broke the earth up into grids. Before and behind, left to right. You can take a cross and lay it on a grid anytime, and it'll fit right on it. I didn't hear you. Yeah, I know that's right. So that's the sign of Satan. But you didn't know it. But now I done made you know. How many of y'all don't believe I'm the Son of Man? You know what the sun do when it rises? It show you things that was right in front of you that you didn't see before. What am I doing? Showing you things that was right in front of you that you didn't see before? All right, then I must be the Son of Man. Huh? All right. Now let's go a little further.
Now, if you believe that there is a door, and which you see in every hour, we're happy.
Just a moment. I messed around here. I messed around here and hit the wrong button.
God told me to tell you that He will forgive us. To think that you and Him is the same. Now, if you believe that there is a door, and which you see in every hour, if you want it, or more than that, He stays before you.
Now, if you don't believe that, go on DirecTV and scroll to them 300s and whatnot around everything over 356 and whatnot, and just scroll through there, and you will find some preaching going on by white folks and the Negroes too. You always find them on there preaching, if that's what you're looking for. Huh? Yeah, they're going to wish that they had opened up all their airways to me before it's over with, but it's going to be too late. And there ain't no sense in asking for no second chance. Ain't no second chance that's going to be given. I gave you a chance, and you acted a fool.
Then if He wants to try to deceive you, well, He knows you, but you don't know Him. He makes up a religion. He knows you are born righteous, created righteous. But He knows He has deceived you to make you think that you and Him is the same. Before God, not think as much of Him as he does you. But he's mistaken, and you have been deceived. You are all.
God don't think as much of nobody as he thought of me. That's why he gave it all to me. And if you want to know who God thinks, since I'm standing up here, I ought to know. Whoever's most mindful of their duty, that's who is most favored in the sight of Allah. Submit and know this. It ain't a one of you that love me that I don't love. But actually, I love you much more. I'm doing things for you that you don't know nothing about. But you're going to love what I prepare for you. You'll see. That's why Prophet Muhammad said the most favored ones would be those the most honored, would be the ones that Allah will honor with his own hands. That's right.
Right today, if you just will accept your religion and don't get no need to ask for forgiveness for your past, all that is forgiven. God told me to tell you that he will forgive us all the past. Just accept your own now. Go from here and not think over what happened in the past. You did not know who you were and how to enemy. So that is right and just that you should be forgiven for that which you had no knowledge of. So this is what he told me to tell you. And since we don't have to go on our knees for yesterday, be sure that we go on our knees for today. I mean, people that have did everything that the devil did and tried to beat him at some of it, just forgiven for all of that evil, you certainly should be happy. I myself was not Elijah Muhammad in those days. And so I thank him for forgiving me of such evil things that I did while I was under the devil. So he said he forgave me, but I thank him for forgiving me. We have to have Minister Farrakhan of number 7 with us. This is an honor to us. Minister of number 1, minister of practically all of our temples around. So let us show our visiting ministers that we respect their history and their help and the work that we are doing here. We are happy. The time, as I have said many times, we have no time until motion is made. Then we calculate a motion, the time. The sun is so powerful that it makes every everything in its circle to move. There we calculate time from sun. The sun being.
Now I want you to, as he said, we don't have time until motion is made, and we calculate from motion time. You'll notice. See that second hand on that clock? See, it's in motion, ain't it? It's got to stay in motion, but it makes a complete motion from one point to the next point. And every time it makes that complete motion and comes back to where it started, we call that a minute. Is that right? Well, time is not just motion. It is motion and distance traveled and calculated motion and distance. Do you understand? You see? So where there is no distance that you measure by, then you don't have time. You just motion, in motion, but you're not actually counting time. Time is calculated motion. Do you understand? Okay.
Calculate time from sun. The sun being the greatest.
That's how we calculate years. The earth is in motion around the sun. And every time it makes a complete trip, we call that a year. Do you understand? And that's how we calculate time and distance. Calculated motion and distance. Then we call them what we call them. We call them years. We call them months. It's like months. We talk about months about the moon. You see? And we talk about days as we look at the earth and its circumference. The earth is 24,896 miles in circumference. And every 24 hours, it makes one complete revolution, which means the earth is spinning at 1,037 1/3 miles per hour on its axis. And every time it makes a complete turn, that's 24 hours. Do you understand? And so.
And that we can never even understand just why that we don't understand the sun. But there is one place you can't understand. It was written that you can't understand. God didn't make it to be understood by you and me. Because it is a divine right put up there for you and I to read. Read not only the sun, but read what that thing looks like and what it's for. What did God put the sun up there for us to learn? It's a shining light, and it don't rotate round nothing. The God himself.
As he said, the sun was put out there for us to learn something. It's a light. Now, I'm adding to what he said. You notice in the first chapter of the book of John, it says in the 5th verse, it says, and the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Okay. If you was, say, outside of this solar system and looked at our sun, even out past Pluto, about 4,600,000,000 miles, the sun would look like a light shining in darkness to you. Is that right? But when you get 93 million miles from it, and when you see it, the sun don't shine in darkness. It shines in light. And so that sun that you see out in the sky, which is what all of the prophets compared the Son of Man to, as Jesus said, as the lightning comes out of the east and shines. The only light you know of that comes out the east and shines is the sun. He said, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Huh? All right. Even the light that you call Holy Scriptures, the holy prophets, they came out of the east. Didn't no scripture come from the west. It all came from the east. And they bowed to the one who would come from the west, making the sun rise from the west. Do you understand? They bore me witness. As you notice, the messenger said it's a shining light, and it don't rotate round nothing but God himself. When you look at the Holy Scriptures, it's a light that shines in darkness, in print. And you look at it, and you're discovering now that it ain't rotating. It don't revolve or rotate around nothing but the Son of Man. All of them keep telling you about the Son of Man. It's all about me. Do you understand? And that's what he was telling you. He says it's a divine light put up there for you and I to read. Read not only the sun, but read what that thing looked like. Yeah, you notice when you look up at the physical sun, what did it look like? Look like it's too bright and you better not keep staring at it. Huh? And when you look at this spiritual sun here, it makes you close it up too. Is that right? Too bright for you. And my thoughts are not your thoughts. And as high as the heaven is over the earth, so is my thoughts above your thoughts. Huh? You'd have never got this out of these books and out of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad if I hadn't shared it with you. It's supreme wisdom. That's what I have. I have supreme wisdom. These people used to think that the little book that the messenger was sharing with them, that's the supreme wisdom. No, the supreme wisdom is what Allah taught him, along with what Allah taught Jesus and Moses and David and Solomon. It's the supreme wisdom. And it's all was something I was told to eat up, which makes me the man that the book said, here is wisdom. Get wisdom, for that's the principal thing. Well, where do you get it from? You get it from the Son of Man. What is wisdom? It's instructions. What is the scripture? It's instruction in righteousness. It's wisdom in righteousness. Yeah.
No planet is attractive enough to force the sun to die.
Now, what he meant there? Well, is that from the time you've been here, from the time everybody get here to the time they die, what does the brain do? It what? What does the mind do? It eternally plans things. From the time it's here to the time you go. People always ask, what do you think somebody asking you and say, what you going to do today? They assume you got a plan. Is that right? Well, there's no planner of eternity. No eternal planner that is attractive enough, that can get your attention and hold it. Can't none of them attract and hold the attention of the Son of Man like the scriptures holds the attention of everybody else. You ain't got no books that people keep on printing from one generation to the other. Your knowledge ain't attractive enough. And the scripture referred to itself as the Son of Man. And I'm going to show you. In Luke, don't worry, it's going to get plain to you. I don't confuse you. I do away with confusion. This is the 24th chapter of Luke. And this says now upon the first day of the week, this is the first verse. Very early in the morning, they came unto the sepulchre, bringing the spices which they had prepared, and certain others with them. And they found the stone rolled away from the sepulchre. And they entered in and found not the body of the Lord Jesus. And it came to pass, as they were much perplexed thereabout, behold, two men stood by them in shining garments. And as they were afraid and bowed down their faces to the earth, they said unto them, why? They said, why seek ye the living among the dead? You notice, the angel didn't say, why are you seeking his dead body now? We done raised him up again. He said, no, why are you seeking the living among the dead? Huh? Then it says, remember the Holy Quran says they killed him not, but he was made to appear to them as such. But he is alive and they perceive not. Okay. And it says, and as they were afraid and bowed down their faces, this is the 5th verse, to the earth, they said unto them, why seek ye the living among the dead? He is not here, but is risen. Remember how he spake unto you when he was yet in Galilee, meaning in circuit, circulating among the people. He said, the Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men and be crucified. How do you crucify people? How did they crucify people in Jesus' day and time? They nailed them to a cross, didn't they? Whenever you picked up the Bible to read it, what did you think you was reading? What kind of scripture? Didn't they make you think you was reading a Christian scripture. They nailed the Bible to the cross, didn't they? And gave you a name for what was in the Bible that the Bible don't verify. And you didn't have sense enough to see that, right? Okay, so by giving you the false impression that the Holy Bible is a Christian scripture, they were killing the truth of the Bible. They crucified it. And so it's written, the Son of Man must be delivered into whose hands? What kind of men? Sinful men. Look at the Ku Klux Klan call themselves Christian Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. Huh? Well, if the Ku Klux Klan is Christians, then, and that's Jesus' religion, do you suppose Jesus would have been a member of the Klan? They were doing just the opposite of what Jesus taught. Look at the history of slave making in America. They used the Bible to justify slavery. The book says, servants, obey your masters. Is that right? How come they don't never quote the part that says, call no man on earth master? They conveniently left that one out, didn't they? Yeah, right. Well, I'm putting it back. He ain't no master to me. I ain't but one master on this planet, and you looking at him. Now, when once the master of the house is risen up and shut to the door. You know what happened when one of them life germs enter into that egg? They shut the door. Can't nobody else get in. Is that right? That's the law of life, ain't it? There can be only one. Is that right? Say he Allah. Say he when talking about Allah. He, Allah, is one. Yeah, but you didn't understand. He's one who is of us all. That's right. And that's me. Well, how did you get to be of them? I ate them. Oh, praises due to Allah. And then it says, so you see, the Son of Man was delivered into the hands of sinful men. The Bible and the Holy Quran been in the hands of sinful men. Right? That's why the book says that the Lamb took the book out of the hand of him that sat on the throne. Is that right? Yeah. He's sitting up on the throne. He had dominion, so he wasn't sitting on the throne. The white man, the mind that's in him, that's was put on the brain of everybody. And that mind have been ruling the world from within. The kingdom of God is within you. You understand? Well, where's the kingdom of the devil then? Same place, huh? Okay. So now I'm casting him out. You know how you know I'm casting him out? He can't talk. He can't argue. And when you can't argue, time is up. Now, if he can present an argument that will bring about me having to shut up at him, well, then his time ain't up. But now that I'm bringing these arguments that he can't argue back, his time up. You'll notice when you look at even in his movies, You notice the whole, it's just like in those early Star Wars, these later Star Wars movies where the what is it? The Revenge of the Sith, the Revenge of the Sith, and Anakin is a little boy. You notice the whole story revolves around that little boy. Is that right? And ends with him becoming Darth Vader, right? You see? That's the way the Holy Scriptures are. The Holy Scriptures revolve around me. Do you understand? There you go. Now that's clear, ain't it? How clear? That's all right. All right. There you go.
But he is attractive enough to have every planet within our reach to bow.
See, every planner of eternity, every mind that the book reaches has to bow in agreement with me. Do you understand?
We have not learned what we should have learned because of our ignorance. Now, this is a similitude of the work of God. That is why you can't understand. You don't know where He's still help you from.
It's just like with me. You don't know how I know all of these things. Huh? You don't know where the sun getting his fuel from. But it's just like the Holy Scriptures. People talk that talk, just like you heard somebody talking about the Bible is plagiarized. But they can't produce what it was plagiarized from. Huh? You hear people say, well, I don't believe in no Holy Quran. And by saying they don't believe in the Holy Quran, especially when they ain't never read one, and when the more you read it, the more you have to acknowledge that you can't say you don't believe in the Holy Quran unless you don't believe in the Bible. Because the Holy Quran verifies what's in the Bible. And I tell you something else that's a mystery. Prophet Muhammad came 600 years after Jesus. And he wasn't over there in them places with Moses' people and all of that. Yet he verifying Moses' people's teaching, Moses' teaching. He verifies Ezekiel. He verifies Malachi. Malachi said the book of remembrance was written before the Lord for them that thought upon his name. The Holy Quran says it's a reminder of that which came before it, of the Torah and the gospel. Huh? Jesus said the Son of Man is the Lord on the Sabbath day. The Holy Quran closes by saying, say, I seek refuge in the Lord of men, the King of men, the God of men. What men? Did not, as Jesus said, did not Moses show at the bush that God said, I'm the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob? Wasn't those men? The Lord of men, the King of men, the God of men. Huh? See? There's just no way you can deny me unless you just deny all of them. That's Allah told me. He said, son of man, they not going to, house of Israel will not hearken unto you. The mind that the devil put in these people, he ain't going to hear and obey you. That's what hearken means. Means to hear and obey. They're not going to hearken to you because they won't hearken unto me. That's what he told me. Jesus said that I would be rejected by this generation. Well, that's fine. And as you have rejected knowledge, I will also reject you. Yeah. Hosea told you that. And he told you that for me. You see.
But you shining.
You know why he called the sun she? It's because he's talking about the scriptures here. The scripture is she that produced he. Do you understand? The mind that's in me came in the volume of the book. Just like you in Circle of Iron, the man asked the main character, he said, what style do you have? He said, my style. Then he asked him, what school are you from? He said, no school. And then the little monkey man said, behold, a man with no mother. Schools are always called she because they reproduce minds. That is the gestation place for new minds. So it's she. Do you understand? And so the messengers of God, the Son of Man that was delivered into the hands. You notice whenever a woman gets ready to take a husband, they ask a question. Who gives this woman to this man? And what is the answer? Who says, I do? The Father does, huh? The Father delivers her into the hands of that man. Well, the Holy Scriptures was given into the hands of sinful men. She was. And she's a virgin. No one was able to open the book, and to look thereon. Then the Holy Scripture is a virgin. And a virgin has conceived and have borne a son. Huh? And if you say I'm not a son, then you call the Holy Scriptures a book of light. But the light was so bright that you couldn't even understand it. You couldn't see it. It was all in your eyes. You know, when you look into the Scriptures, it's like looking into a bright light. You can't see because the beams of the light blind you. But in the volume of that light, you notice at the center of all that resplendent light is a ball that you call the sun. At the center of the Holy Scriptures, in the volume of it, is the mind that's now addressing you. So she have given birth to a man who humbled himself as a child. And you know what that means. She gave birth to the greatest. As Jesus said when he was asked, who is greatest in the kingdom of heaven? He brought a little child there. And he said, whosoever shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. That's why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told you, God himself is a Muslim. Why? Because he submits to his own word, which is the truth. Do you understand? So, that's what time it is.
Foremost, that I would like to bring you into the knowledge of that I take through in a few minutes. Allah, in the person of Master Quran Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever, to teach me of the sun. He got up and stood up and looked at me. So if you ask me again, I won't preach no more. So I wondered, what I asked him that? So the next day, it came to me. It looked like you said a Pope was asked a question on God. I suppose the answer that he asked. And then he started teaching me a little about the sun. Not much though. Oh no. So don't be getting your ears tuned up.
None of them were allowed to know a lot about me. That way, I would have to do new things. And it's written, the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister. And the mind that sits on my brain, the brain is the throne of knowledge. And it's written, he that sitteth on the throne said, behold, I make all things new. Do you understand? So I'm, and as to all things, people want to know what that is. It's all things that was delivered unto me, the Holy Scriptures. You notice I'm making it all new to you. You thought you had been understanding the Scriptures. Now you realize that everything you thought you understood was wrong. Huh? Now who else can make that claim that they taught you something that you couldn't argue with, and yet it didn't agree with nothing that you thought you knew? So this is the 22nd verse of the 10th chapter of Luke. It says, all things are delivered to me of my Father, and no man knoweth who the Son is. No man understands who the Son is, but the Father. And who the Father is, but the Son, and he to whom the Son will reveal him. And he turned him unto his disciples. He turned himself unto his disciples and said privately to them, blessed are the eyes which see the things that you see. This is me. My eyes are the blessed eyes. It says, for I tell you that many prophets and kings have desired to see those things which you see and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear and have not heard them. I'm the only one that the book was spread for, and the ears were opened to hear. That's what Allah said to me. He said, Son of man, that which I say to you in your ear, that speak ye from the housetop. Get on the air and tell everybody. where they used to steal a hearing. The FBI and all of them used to sit out and listen to Muhammad's temple because they couldn't hear it no other place unless they sent somebody in there or sit up out there with mechanical instruments because white people wasn't allowed in the temple. But it wasn't because of hatred of white people. It was because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wasn't here to raise nobody but me. And as he made sure that when I came there, that I wouldn't find no distractions. He knew how intimidated we were of white people. So rather than have them come in there and some of us sitting up there thinking, now he don't have to be talking about them like that. He see them sitting there. So he stopped that foolishness before it got started. And he told them, he said, if we swung them doors back on their hinges and let the world in here, he said, you wouldn't have standing room. He said, but the others, they used to ruling and you're not. So you could be easily cheated. You see what happened when the messenger wasn't here no more. Now who controlled the temples? Who wind up controlling the temples that used to be called Muhammad's temples? The Arabs came over here and then just moved it, took over. He won't come in here and take over. He hear me? No. The messenger told me that he was giving it to me in a way that I could master it. He said it does no good to give a man something that he cannot master. He said, but I'm coming to you in a way that you can master what I'm teaching, and then you will be just as big a boy as I am. He said, not saying that he's talking about himself. He said, not saying that I'm the big boy. He said, but I'm trying to make you the big boy. And I will get behind the door and peep out at how you will react. And that is just a good way of saying it, because all of the teachings of all of the messengers of God are like a continuous, control nuclear reaction going on in the sun. And the way that those atoms react with one another in the sun, it just keeps making it shine and give off light. The way the prophets' teachings, the way the messengers of God, the atoms of the Holy Scriptures, the way they react with each other's, their words react in my brain, it gives off light and makes me shine. Wisdom maketh a man's face to shine. You see. This is look, where is your mouth located? What part of your it's on your face, isn't it? Wisdom maketh a man's face to shine. So I shine light like the professors at the colleges and universities. You always asking them, could you shed a little more light on this, a little more light? And then he opens his mouth and starts shining. Right? Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. See, I understand. Now you understand. At least you understand it on that level. All praise is due to Allah. So that is, another, there's many meanings of that statement. That wisdom maketh a man's face to shine. Like the earth. The earth is constantly turning toward the light. And so the light of the sun makes the face of the earth shine. So it's a whole lot. It don't just have one meaning. The wisdom is not like that. It is levels. That's why we compared it to pearls. You know, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a merchant man that went out in search of goodly pearls. All teachers are always searching for more to give to the student. And he's always finding more. You get one layer, then you put another layer on top of that one and another layer on top of that one. You notice your skin is like that. You got a layer, then underneath that is another layer. And underneath that is more layers. Do you understand? Yes. The earth is like that, layered. You know, the crust, the mantle, you know, you got all them different layers. Right? Yeah. So it's a lot of things that we want to do. And I want to say to Mr. Mueller and all of the wonderful men and women of the Justice Department, my prayers are with you and for you to remove all of the treasonous people out of positions where they can do harm to your country. You know, that's my prayer for you. And may Allah bless you with great success. Because, you know, America has been, the United States has been instrumental in a lot of good that happens in this world. I know about the evil, but you did what you were commissioned to do. And now that some of you are trying to do what Allah ordered you, which was to cease work, cease your evil in my time. I intend to keep the promise. You were smart not to let us go. Like Jacob, when the angel, the man that he was wrestling with, they let me go. He said, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. Well, I'm blessing you now. All you have to do is just come to class, listen to what I have to say, and it will make you complete. It will give you what you need to resist your own devils. And I'm living proof. I grew up in this country. I grew up practicing evil. And what I receive from Allah is helping me to rid myself of my own evil. It will do the same for each and every one of you. You know, in other words, we want to bring our evil under control. And once we realize that we have control, then all of those things that we couldn't control, we start to see the good in those things. It's good in the reproductive system and the way we reproduce. Ain't nothing wrong with that, ain't it? It's just wrong when you start abusing it. Do you understand? So Allah's wisdom. We understand checks and balances. Now we see the importance of check and balance. When Congress stopped putting a check on the office of president, look what happened. Even though the president is clothed with immense power, they didn't make him all powerful. They put another branch, 2 more branches, designed to put him in check so that he don't become abusive. Likewise, the word of God keeps us from abusing the flesh. and using it for something that it really was not meant for. Do you understand? Okay. So Allah's forgiveness is what we crave. And so far, he has granted us what we craved. So let's don't let him be sorry. Okay? All right. So it's after 11. Now I'm gonna let you go. Oh, tomorrow's the first? Okay, now you all know that during Ramadan, we don't eat or drink nothing in the daytime. That's just another way of saying that we understand that we fast now. For we are abstaining from everything that if we can abstain from the things that we need, the food and the drink and the water, then that makes it ludicrous for us to say we can't abstain from evil. If you got a strong enough will to resist eating and to resist drinking, which you got to do to live, well, then what does that make all this other stuff that we be doing that we should cut out? If we can stop what we need, we can put a stop to what we don't need. Ain't that right? You ain't weak. Weakness didn't get you here. Don't you know out of millions, hundreds of thousands of life germs, you fought your way to get here? Ain't nothing weak about you if you will fight. Fight for your life. Fight for your salvation. And Allah will fight with you. And you will win. Am I clear? And that goes for everybody. Ain't nobody lost that don't want to be. The Son of Man came to seek and to save that which everybody else gave up on. To save that which was lost. So you come on. Walk with me. We'll be all right. I don't want to lose no family members. And the family members I'm talking about is the human family of the planet Earth. That's everybody that's walking around here on two legs with a brain and are referred to as a human being. That's my family. Potentially. All you got to do is submit to the Lord of the worlds. Submit to the truth. I don't care what world you're in. The truth is the Lord of it. Then why not be a part of the best world that truth created? The world of man.
Excuse me, son of man.
The world of man. Yes, sir.
Can you go through what all refrain from during Ramadan?
Say what?
In addition to the fast. I think you go through in addition to the fast. What else we refrain from?
Well, we don't have no intimate relations and all that stuff during Ramadan either in the daytime. You know, you don't eat nothing from the land during the whole month, day or night. You can eat seafood and eat the best of seafood, but don't kill nothing. No killing. And you know, all you hunters out there, well, we don't kill nothing during the month of Ramadan. To show you, why would God tell us to stop doing all of these things for 1 month? Because he really don't want us doing them ever. But he's merciful. He knows that we are babies. We are babies when it comes to spiritual gifts. And so, you know, I'm here to help you to grow and to grow along with that giant material brain, that giant material mind that you have, I want to give you the twin to it. You need a giant spiritual mind to keep that other giant in check. Do you understand? And you come on, go with me. And but I know that many of you are not yet following me because you haven't called me and told me so. So you just listening. But to those who are following me, our Ramadan is you have prayer. You have prayer at sunrise. You have another prayer. I always have prayer before I leave out the house. Then you have another prayer at noon. Then you have another prayer at sunset. And then you have another prayer at sundown. And then you have another one before you retire for the night. And now understand something. That is what we give to you. But you can pray whenever you feel like it. Do you understand? That's between you and Allah. And like me, I pray, often, all day. I'm always asking Allah, help me do this, help me do that. And ask Allah what you need. If you want to be stronger to do things, ask Allah, oh Allah, please help me to do better than this. Help me to be what I need to be. He'll help you. He's helping you the mere fact that you want to be. Do you understand? Stop hanging around people that are always trying to get you to do something you ain't got no business. You understand? You got one leader and teacher. That's me. So, you stay behind me. If you stay behind me, you will discover that Allah has already forgiven you for everything that you did because you showed honor to the one that he told you to submit to. Do you understand? Don't when you hear people talking nonsense, excuse yourself. And you can tell them this. You need to go have prayer. And tell them I'm finna go have prayer. I got to go have prayer. Maybe they'll get the hint. Huh? But you always you can't. There is no magic wand. You got to work out your salvation. You have to hear the word and practice it. Do you understand? All right. Any more questions? Oh, and when you fast, some of you may think that you fast. Look, you got to drink water. You talking about you going on a fast and ain't going to drink no water and whatnot. Yeah, you going to drink water. Water is not something to start your digestive system. Water is what your body needs to purify itself. So you drink water. And if you want to drink you a little coffee or I should say some tea or something while you fasting, you can do that. It's all right. And some of you that may decide that you want to ease into fasts, well, go on a juice fast. Don't drink, just drink juices. Tomato juice, V8. I like them pineapple and V8 cocktail. Tastes good to me. And but that's up to you. And don't just drink. And no, do no more than maybe a quart and a half a day if you're gonna do juices. And that will get you kind of used to not your digestive system not working so hard. And you drink juice, your digestive system will work, and then it'll shut down. You see, and give it a rest. Some of our digestive system ain't shut down since we've been in the world. It was designed to last, but it wasn't designed to abuse. The prophets gave you and I examples of that's one of the pillars of faith is fasting. And until you done went 24 hours without eating, you ain't on no fast. This Ramadan ain't really no fast. It's just abstaining from eating during the daytime. Do you understand? Because you're still eating every day. You just ain't eating until it get dark. All right? Okay. So, and when you make your tea or whatever, don't try to load it up with sugar. Just put a little sugar in it to, make it palatable, and then let that do. Because that's what your body actually nourishes itself off of. Your body burns sugar. You see? That's what you'll notice. Many people think diabetes comes from eating a lot of sugar. It actually don't. It comes from eating a lot of starch. Your body converts starch to sugar. You see? So you have to, that's what one meal a day will do for you. One meal a day, you hardly ever find yourself suffering from diabetes and all that stuff. I've been eating one meal a day since 1973. So then that's too much. So I have to cut back on that. So I want you to know that it don't take as much to live as you've been thinking, as much eating. We eat too much, we dig our graves with our teeth. So I want you to live a long time. So you get with me, follow me, and your life will be lengthened. All praise is due to Allah. So may Allah bless us, keep us safe and in our right minds. And I look forward to talking with you again tomorrow, prayer time. And may Allah bless us with a happy, peaceful, and successful Ramadan. By the way, Ramadan means hot month. And that is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught me. And the reason we do it in December is because that's when we used to be doing all kind of stuff. We ain't had no business. Drunkenness and everything is, we supposed to be celebrating the birth of a righteous man. You don't do that by getting drunk and practicing things that's just the opposite of what the man stood for. So I want to say to all of you that I don't see nothing wrong with respecting a day to honor Jesus. Even if it wasn't his birthday, that's fine. If you put a day out in to honor him, I'm with you on that. I don't mind honoring him. But if you're going to really honor him, then be kind to one another. Don't help each other get drunk. No. All right. May Allah's Assalamu alaikum.
Your conference recording stopped. This